The Carrington estate was the kind of place you only saw in glossy magazines. Marble floors, crystal chandeliers, a swimming pool shaped like a grand piano, and two children, Gigi and Grant Carrington, who were famous for one thing. No nanny lasted longer than a month. The twins were 7, beautiful, blonde, with eyes like glass marbles, and utterly unmanageable. They bit, they spat, they screamed. They told one nanny her dress looked like it came from a garbage bag until she cried and quit. Another was found locked in the bathroom. The twins had slid a chair under the doorknob and giggled while she pounded to get out. The Carringtons were on their 23rd nanny in less than 3 years. When she fled in tears after being hit in the face with a bowl of spaghetti, the butler made a call. It was to an agency that sent unconventional candidates. That's how Grace Williams arrived. She was 48, tall, strong, with warm brown skin and a quiet voice. She wore a plain navy dress and carried a single leather tote. The butler tried to warn her. "They've sent people to the hospital." "Children don't scare me," she said. The first meeting didn't go well. Gigi and Grant were sprawled on the living room floor, throwing Lego pieces at the ceiling fan to see if they would fly. Grace stepped into the room. "Hi, I'm—" A Lego bounced off her shoulder. She didn't flinch. "Grace, your new nanny." "We don't need a nanny, well," Grant said. "We'll make you quit." "You can try," Grace said, and set down her tote. From it, she pulled a chessboard. "We don't play games," Gigi sneered. "Oh, I think you do," Grace replied. "You just haven't met anyone who plays better." That first day, she didn't tell them to sit still. She didn't force them to eat vegetables. She just taught them the basics of chess and let them win. The second day, she set the rules. If you throw food, you clean it up. If you use bad words, you write an apology. And if you hurt someone, you lose your game for the day. "Or what?" Grant asked. "Or I'll win," she said simply. By the third day, they were saying please without thinking. By the fifth, they were setting the table. The butler was baffled. The chef nearly cried when the twins complimented her soup. Mr. Carrington noticed. A tall, silver-haired man who spent more time in boardrooms than his own home, he called Grace into his study. "How are you doing this? Bribery." "Respect," she said. "They don't respect anyone." They didn't until someone respected them first. But there was something Grace didn't tell him. Something about why she took this job. Something about her connection to the Carrington family that went back decades. And a debt that had never been repaid. Grace didn't plan to tell him. But it came out one rainy Thursday when Gigi got sick. The little girl lay curled up on the couch, pale and shivering. Grace sat beside her, stroking her hair, humming an old hymn. Mr. Carrington came home early. He paused in the doorway. "You know that song," he said slowly. Grace nodded. "Your father knew it too." Mr. Carrington frowned. "My father?" Grace sighed. 35 years ago, I was 12. My family lived in a small town in Alabama. My mama cleaned houses. My daddy, well, he died young." She looked at him. "One summer, a hurricane hit, flooded half the town. We had nowhere to go, and your father, Richard Carrington, showed up in a truck, took us to higher ground, brought blankets, food. My mama never forgot." Mr. Carrington sat down. "I didn't know." "He told her," Grace continued, "one day I'll make sure your little girl's safe." She laughed it off. "But when I saw your ad for a nanny, I remembered." Grace leaned forward. "I didn't come here for the paycheck. I came here because your children needed someone to fight for them the way your father fought for us." For a moment, the only sound was the rain. Then Gigi whispered, "Grace, can you sing it again?" And Grace did. From that day, things shifted. Mr. Carrington started coming home earlier. He ate dinner with his kids, the twins, still mischievous, but no longer cruel. They invited Grace to their school's Grandparents' Day, calling her Grandma Grace in front of everyone. Months passed. One afternoon, Mr. Carrington handed Grace an envelope. Inside, the deed to a small cottage on the edge of the estate. "It's yours," he said, "for making good on my father's promise and for saving my family." Grace cried for the first time since she'd arrived. And the twins? When the press came to photograph the Carrington family for a magazine spread, Gigi and Grant insisted, Grace sits in the middle. She's the boss. Years later, when the twins graduated college, Grace sat in the front row. And when the photographer asked for family only, Grant said, she is family. Some promises take decades to keep, and some debts can only be repaid with love.